So we'll be going over how to make tax payments using the IRS website. Before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to Ty Wendheiser. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, from the Mayo Clinic. She approached me at a conference last week and asked me to put together this video for some of her PhD students that face this issue. So what I'd like to do is just start with the beginning in mind. All you need to do is just go into Google or your favorite web browser, type in IRS payments, and you see this screen of options right here on the website, or right here on the Google search page. So we're going to go to the actual page, the IRS payments page, and you can see all the options that were there. So we'll go through each of these. We're going to focus a little bit more of our energy on paying directly from your bank account. We'll talk about some of these other other options if you want to, but the IRS does make it pretty user friendly for you to make tax payments. So as most people know, you can use IRS form 1040 ES. That's the estimated taxes form. And it comes with vouchers that you can make your quarterly payments with. You would send a check or a money order to the IRS office that processes your tax return. And those are separate from this video. I'll put links in the show notes to other resources about that. If you're making a final tax payment, you can complete IRS Form 1040-V. That's the payment voucher that you would submit with your tax return. So that's how you can do paper or kind of offline payments. What we're going to do now is just go to the direct pay with bank account feature. So if you're looking to set up a electronic funds transfer, direct pay option, you would go to here. And then you see some of these options. If you wanted a little bit more assistance, you can click the help menu. We're going to go to the individual tax option. And so you can look up a history of tax payments. You can go through some of this information about saving, like how you would save your confirmation number once you get into the payment portal. There are limitations. So the IRS direct pay option, you can't do more than 2 payments within a 24-hour period. And most taxpayers I've talked to don't have a problem with payments that exceed $10 million, but there is that limitation. So you can look up your tax payment history if you wanted to. We're going to go to the Pay Personal Taxes tab. And again, I've included in the screenshot the URL so you can kind of see this for yourself. So now it takes you to the direct pay portal. I'm signed in to the IRS account, but you don't need to be signed in necessarily. So you have a lot of different reasons why you could be selecting that payment. So if you amended a tax return and you need to pay, you can use that. If you had a balance due, you can use that option. If you got a notice, it may be one of these notices here. Payment plan options, we'll talk about that in a moment, but we're going to select estimated tax. And then it automatically drops down the options for you. So 1040 ES, and we're going to do this for the tax period 2024. So we hit this button to continue, and you can make a payment amount of $1 or more. So, and then you make your payment date. It has to be within 365 days. But if you're waiting for payday to hit and you just wanted to schedule it in advance, you can definitely put this a day or two after your bank payment hits your bank account, or your payment hits your bank account, and it would be scheduled. You would enter your bank account information. I'm not going to do that here. However, I will show you what happens after you do that. So you enter your bank account information. There's some visual guidance on being able to look on your check to see which is your routing number and which is your account number. Generally speaking, the routing number is a 9-digit number with no zeros in front of it. Usually, the account number can vary. It can be 9 numbers. It can be more, it can be less. But usually, there's also a bunch of zeros in front of the account number, and that total number of digits exceeds 9. The other thing that you can do is just look on the check. The one on the right is your account number. The one on your left is the routing number, or most people will just find that information on their bank app nowadays. So you select all of these options. Make sure that if you use the correct account type, or this might get kicked back. Email terms of service. So I would advise selecting that you get email confirmation notifications. This can be part of your tax records for when you're filing your tax return, or like when you're keeping your tax records and you are trying to figure out what you paid during the year. You'll want to make sure that you have those email confirmations so that you don't shortchange yourself when filing your taxes, or you want to make sure that your tax preparer has all the information about your tax payments during the year. So I can't click the continue button here because I haven't put in all this information. But when you hit this continue button, you get to this field right here, and it kind of shows you to review and see all of the account information that I skipped through, and then you'll need to electronically sign by putting in your information that you just did. So I did a payment for $1 to come out of my checking account, and we're going to accept the debit agreement. You can, open this up if you wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And then I get a confirmation number. There's also a confirmation that hit my email. So there we go. And you get all the information that you need. The confirmation number is the most important thing, but since I signed up for the email notification, I also got the email that just dropped it into my inbox. So I'm going to go back to the page here, and we're going to talk about some of these other payment options. For example, you can pay by debit card or a digital wallet or credit card. However, processing fees do apply, so we're not going to go through the entire thing, but I did want to show you the schedule of what this looks like. So the IRS doesn't directly process these transactions. They go to a third-party processor. These are the 3 authorized processors for the IRS, and they kind of have varying schedules of what types of payments they accept. For example, if you wanted to pay with cash, there's something called Vanilla Direct that I've never heard of, but that apparently is some way to be able to convert cash to electronic forms of currency. There's also a lot of other networks that I'm not very familiar with. I mean, most of the big networks like Visa, MasterCard, those are pretty understandable. You can actually use this one to pay via Venmo if that's of interest. All of these also offer PayPal payment options. I would pay attention to the transaction fees. So if you're paying by debit card, at least these 2 options appear to be a flat fee. This paid 1040 looks like it is either a flat fee for a consumer or a business or a personal debit card, or a percentage transaction for other types of debit cards with a minimum of $250. So debit is still cheaper, but there is a fee. Credit cards are a flat percentage. So, you may want to, evaluate how much your fee would be before you commit to that payment. So you can also pay from your IRS account. you can pay. You can enroll in what's known as the electronic federal tax payment system. This is actually the official payment system for the federal government. So if you did this, let's go to this. This is actually where it kind of explains what the EFTPS is. It's offered by the Treasury Department, and it's specifically for paying federal taxes. Depending on what profession you're in, there are certain professions where you may be involved in EFTPS quite often. I'll click to it just so that we can kind of see what it looks like. It looks like a website that was set up in the 90s or the early 2000s, but you can enroll, and then once you enroll and you have an account set up, then you would select the option to make that payment. So this is just a secure portal that's offered by the Treasury Department. It isn't limited to just tax payments for individuals. A lot of businesses use this. This is how you would see business payroll taxes, for example, being paid. So depending on where you are, you may or may not want to use EFTPS, but it should be free. You can make other payments through that portal. So you can also do a wire transfer. You can do a check or a money order through the mail. As I mentioned, there is a cash option, so that usually involves going to some sort of a retail partner or taking your cash to the post office to get a money order. You can go to the IRS Taxpayer Assistance Office. You would need to call and schedule an appointment 1 to 2 months in advance to do that. But to take a quick look at what retail partners look like, you can go to Dollar General, CVS, Walgreens, like most drugstores, Walmart. So a lot of different options. There are fees that apply, but you can make up to a $500 payment. So if you're in a bind and you just need to make a quick payment so you don't fall behind on a tax issue, this is an option for a lot of people. And again, these fees seem to be a little bit lower through this route than they were by using the credit card option. So let's go back to so electronic funds withdrawal. That's an option when you file your tax return. And then finally, if you're behind on your taxes, if you can't pay your entire tax bill, you can apply for a payment plan, also known as an installment agreement. So this is probably, the self-selection option for individuals. You can walk through the menu of whether or not you qualify, what does it cost. There generally is a setup fee to do this. In some cases, like if you want to pay your option now, if you want to pay over 6 months, you can do that with no fee. If your payment is more than 6 months, then now you're starting to get into setup fees. So, they range from $22 to $69. Generally speaking, low income taxpayers may qualify to have their fee waived or reimbursed if they meet certain conditions. So that's all we have when it comes to making a payment through the IRS website. Generally, the IRS tries to make it as user-friendly as possible for taxpayers to pay their tax bill. So you don't have to rely on the mail. There are plenty of electronic options. So I covered a lot in this video. I know that there are a lot of links, so I'll put links to not only the IRS pages in the show notes, I'll also put links to some of the forms that I mentioned here so that you can schedule your tax payments accordingly. You can also make adjustments to your Form W-4 if you need to. If you feel like you're just not paying enough through your paycheck, and you can make adjustments to your W-4 so that you have to make estimated tax payments less often. So we'll put links in the show notes to some of the resources that might help you out when it comes to tax payments. And so if you like our articles that kind of help break down some of these tax forms for better understanding, please take the time to subscribe to our newsletter. And if you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, or if there's something that you would like to see covered in an upcoming video, then hit me up in the show notes or in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.